little pony, my little pony.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bronyville. This is Bronyville episode number 55, recorded on May 19th, 2012. I am your host, Apple Cider. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the chat, working with us a little bit later in the day. Glad to have you around and glad to, do this show. We got a full, jam-packed, interesting and very informative show ahead of us. We have a full just host of guests. First off, my usual, my fan favorite, my OTP. Hey there, Chef.
Hey there, AC.
How you doing?
It's been a very interesting day.
It's a late day for you. It's like what 8 there now? 8:30.
It's 8:35, but it's been worthwhile.
It has. You've got some exclusive sized content for us.
Yeah, so full 3 minutes.
Yes. Also, he's already chimed up, so I might as well go ahead and introduce him. Hey, Inky.
Hey.
Inky Spots. He takes care, and we keep him around because he takes care of our server and keeps us running. Hey, you.
All the tubes forever.
And you're also very cool. So we get you on. We're going to just talk about some stuff. Oh, yeah, and Sethisto's here.
Hello.
We just decided to add him. How are you doing, Seth?
Just randomly joining.
Yeah, and we've got tons of information, and of course we brought some of these guys on because they know about some of the crazy new stuff that's happening. So yeah, we've got. You know what? John DeLancie is going to be a lot of the early part of this episode. I feel
he's a really cool guy.
Yeah,
definitely is.
He's seen. It's I've got a lot to. There's a lot to say about it, and yeah, there's let's not dilly-dally too much. Both Inky and Seth are returning champions, as we like to call them over here on the show. So I have to see, Seth, it changes every freaking time you're on the show. Favorite pony?
Oh, who did I put down? Oh, I got Fluttershy this week. Fluttershy.
Oh, Team Fluttershy, bro.
I love the fact that you wrote it down earlier and needed to check.
Yeah, I was considering changing it, but I'm gonna go with Fluttershy. She's cool. She's a really cool pony.
May I convince you towards Applejack? Applejack's a pretty good pony.
I don't know. She just hasn't had her time to shine yet. I've had Applejack for a week.
So you did have Applejack as your favorite for a while?
For a little while, yeah. Yes. And I forgot why. There's just something that triggered Applejack.
She's just the apples. You like the apples.
If you hung out with her, you would never be hungry. Always apples.
Did you guys ever go through an apple phase after watching the show?
You know what? AJ is still in my top 4. She is number 4 on my list, and I want her to be higher, but she
mean, like, eating apples. Because I could not stop eating apples for like 2 weeks at one point. It was insane.
There were some
you can't eat all those apples.
I mean, it was just, I was checking out all the different types and stuff. I didn't know there were so many types.
Yeah, there was a little bit of Wikipedia, Google research of like, oh, so that's the difference between a red delicious and a golden delicious. Oh, these are the tart apples. These are the ones that are good for cider. Yes, I actually searched on, well, if the name is apple cider, I should know a little bit about the correct apples to use for the character.
It's true. I mean, I was just surprised because there's always the big ones like Red Delicious, Fuji, and stuff. But I discovered a lot of really good ones. Like actually, Big Mac. I didn't even know that was a good apple you can get at the store. And
see, you don't want all the mainstream apples.
No, I want the indie
ones that are underground.
He wants the hipster apples, the apples that hang around in Portland and Seattle. It's apples with apples with their apple.
Oh, there's some amazing ones out there. There's also some really expensive ones. Like there's a health food store nearby that has some really rare ones. I don't even know the names on those, but they're good, really good.
They're really good apples, but none that that you've eaten yet.
No, I had a couple. I just don't know the names.
Okay, that was the most Apple talk we've ever had on the show. Okay, and favorite episode thus far?
I'm still going Lesson Zero right now. I really like the finale a lot, but Lesson Zero, just the way Twilight cracks is amazing.
All right. All right. Inky, favorite character?
Still Fluttershy.
We can't have this. Not two Fluttershy fans. Show over.
She's still best pony to me. I'm sticking with my girl here.
That's fine. Quiet, Starry. You can't have three Fluttershy fans. This is getting nuts. All right. And favorite episode?
Current favorite is Hurricane Fluttershy.
That's like a lot of the use of the word Fluttershy. So why'd you like that episode? It is a newer one.
Yeah, like it bumped up on my list because it was like it's a really good Fluttershy episode, and I feel it did a lot for her character, and kind of gave her a chance to shine. And also related to that, I really liked the characterization of Rainbow Dash in that episode because she was kind of gung ho, but she was still like understanding of her friend's position and wasn't being a total buy some apples about it. So I think they developed Dash's character really well too.
She wasn't always a jerk, wasn't always the person or pony to just leave their friends behind.
Right, yeah. I mean, she had her goals and her thing that she wanted to do, but then she was like, I got to knuckle down and and get the job done. And she put her pride aside and didn't worry about beating the goal. So, I like it for both those characters had really good moments in that episode.
All right, very cool. So, all right, so that takes care of our intros. That's these guys. The first thing, Sandy, it's been a week since I've heard your dulcet tones on the show, and you still haven't even heard the last episode, and it was a good one. Serial knocked it out of the park. I don't know. It's weird having you back. You're gonna have to do these sponsors to sell me, just so I can get back to hearing your voice.
Yep. Well, our sponsor is, as always, the guys over at WeLoveFine.com. They have high-quality pony shirts, tees, hoodies, bags, polos, hats, and prints, and other such delightful things. And if you use our coupon code Bronyville10... What?
Nothing.
Inky's poking me. You can get 10% off your purchase, and they have been adding a whole bunch more new shirts this week.
I want that keychain, that derpy keychain.
The derpy keychain's nice, but the My Little Ponies, it still has to be one of the just most constantly purchased items off of the store.
They got the Chrysalis shirt now.
I really like the Celestial triptych with Fosticorn, Celestia, and Twilight and Luna in the style of an old Russian Orthodox triptych.
There's they've added some new. They've got the little clap your hooves and do a little shake T-shirt now.
Yeah, that's cute. Fluttershy is an archer. That's interesting.
They have one with a pixelated main 6 and a stoned Discord in the middle that says "You win."
Mm-hmm.
That's a pony.
They also have the PhD in adorableness, which is very cute and done by one of my local guys. Fluttershy being cute.
Chrysalis Nouveau. They did one of those.
The weird ultra gangly anthro ponies, I'm not so sure about that. Not very sure about that at all.
Oh, well, there's plenty of stuff in there. I'm looking through all these. Yay. Official vectors. Yay. All right, so check that out. That's We Love Fine. A Bronyville 10 gets you 10% off. Go buy you some shirts. You need one. I'm wearing one right now. Magneto Pony. All right, well, who else we got?
We also have sponsor Ruckus Media. They also do the educational storybooks that you can see in the bottom there. The Gallop into Learning is a free application, and it's My Little Pony interactive storybooks for your iPad or iDevice. And you can get the free app, and they're good learning tools for children, and they're pony. Because, everybody buys everything pony.
Pony Transformer, they've got tons of other things, not just pony, but hey, come on, it's got official pony material. You like that.
Likewise, we also have our friends over at Everfree Northwest who should have sent us a new file by this week, but I'm not sure. They have been listing slowly but surely their list of guests. They have Lee Takar, Kathy Wiselock. I think Michelle Krieber was announced today.
Yep.
Yep. She was announced today.
Whole bunch of community guests, which you've kind of gone over, including some jerks by the name of Bronyville.
Us.
All right. And the Pony Stock 12 guys are not quite listed, but I'm sure there will be many, many top tier names to be appearing at this fantastic Northwest convention. How's it fantastic and it hasn't even happened? I'm just that smart.
It's just that good. All right. Everfree Northwest, you can find that at everfreenw.com, I believe. So go over there, register. It will be there so we can see you if you want to meet us in the fair state of Washington. All right. Well, that takes care of all of our awesome sponsors. So we've got very on in the early part of the show, we've got to talk about one particular individual. Others may know him as Q. We may know him as Discord, but we all understand him as Mr. John DeLancie. So he's been doing a lot with Pony recently, and it's kind of been shocking to me. I've had a complete turn of face in the span of a week. So Seth knows a lot about it. We have been collecting a lot about this documentary that he has suggested and that has reached its goal and is pretty much set to be made. So where do we want to start on it? When its inception and its goals, I suppose. Where do you want to go, News Pony?
We should probably talk about what it is, the goal to begin with, and then we can talk about my 10-minute long one-on-one chat with him today at Dallas Comic Con.
Okay.
So he's basically backing the Kickstarter for BronyCon the documentary, a documentary project that John DeLancie and Michael Brockhoff, I guess,
yes,
are
the producer,
are basically looking to do a documentary about the pony community, which I'll admit I was pretty negative about. Not publicly, just sort of like, I don't know about this. This seems really weird. But the fandom really jumped behind this and funded the heck out of it. It's exceeded its goal by $11,000 with 21 days to go. And it's basically talking about us and the community, the musicians, the artists, the good that we do. And yeah, it seems a little self-indulgent at the first look, but that was sort of before I knew his motivations. And this is my particular turnaround happened today.
Okay. You mind if I step in real quick and put in mind? So this was, and as I said, I've had a turn of face on this as well, because when it was first announced, it was like, okay, someone's doing a documentary, and my thought was DeLancie was off to the side, and he's like, all right, we're doing a face on this. In the past, John DeLancie had been like, when I think he first learned about this whole fandom, he was like, bronies, they're kind of odd, and that was about as far as it went. And I don't know. When I first saw this, I just had this feeling of like, oh, there's $60,000. That's so much money. And, I kind of just felt this weird thing of like, I really hope that just this isn't going to be something that gets taken, that it just like gets out of hand. People end up not getting behind it. And, it's just, it turns into something that doesn't go their way. It's kind of hard to understand, but it was just this feeling of I don't know. Documentaries for fan communities can sometimes go really sideways and really bad. So that was my first kind of concern. Now, afterwards, I watched the video that it's based off of, and it's recorded with John DeLancie just talking about, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're planning on doing. This is what we need. This is how much money we'd like to have, but we're starting with a $60,000 goal. And I was like, okay, all right, let me recenter myself. This seems like it could be okay, this could be decent. So I was able to kind of recenter myself. So I'm at the point of at this point right now of passively being, okay, this sounds kind of neat. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it sounds like a good idea. So take it from that, Sandy. What did you get?
Okay, so today I went to the Dallas Comic Con, which is out in Irving, Texas. John DeLancie, Patrick Stewart, a whole bunch of other fantastic people involved in comics and TV shows for the nerds like us. Inky and I got there pretty early. It was a huge mess of people, long lines, but I was there for one purpose only. I wanted to talk to John DeLancie because he'd said that he was going to talk about the documentary some, and I wanted to hear it, well, straight from the Draconicus mouth. And so Inky and I, I actually had to get a bit psyched up to talk to him. I was like, had to turn my spaghetti containment to maximum so that I didn't embarrass myself in front of this guy that I really wanted to talk to. Succeeded in doing so. And one of the things I thought was really cool is one of the things you can choose to get his autograph on is a picture of Discord. So he's kind of embracing that.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And I was talking to him. He was talking to people in front of me about basically about the community. They were bronies as well, but he was trying to talk up the Kickstarter. And I explained, I'm from this show. We have this really long reach. We get a lot of downloads on a 90-day scale, X number a month. And he's like, yeah, that's really cool. He really wants to get the Kickstarter out there because he really believes. And he and I talked for about 10 minutes at the table while there was not a lot of people in line to talk to him because we were there really early. But there was other people waiting while he and I were having a conversation, which is really cool. And I gave him one of our cards. So he has our real names on the card and our contact information. And he had mentioned that he talked to Seth recently.
Indeed.
Yep.
And so that's something else. But he seems really, really, really eager to get this out there. And he said, and this is something that really sort of changed my opinion of the thing, that neither he nor the producer are taking any money from this, that all the money is going to be going to just paying the crew to go to where they need to go and film, which I don't know if the information had been out there previously, but I hadn't seen it. So that shifted my opinion. And then a little bit later, I hope you have that clip ready, AC, because I want you to play it. He was on stage with Patrick Stewart for a little bit. Basically, there was a Patrick Stewart and John DeLancie panel. Started out with Patrick Stewart being Patrick Stewart. He's a cool guy.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stewart, being me.
And then there was John DeLancie did the sort of the same thing that he did at Calgary, where he kind of pops up from the back and is like, yes, Mr. Stewart, what is your favorite villain? And that was John DeLancie. He finally goes up on stage. They have a little bit of shared communication time. And then Patrick Stewart got pulled off stage because he was only there till that evening, like 5:45, and they had a whole bunch of signing to do. Because after all, if you're going to sell your signature for $50, you want to do as many as you can.
Right.
I think they oversold the autograph and photo op tickets too.
Yeah, they definitely did that. When he was doing his panel, he talked real briefly about 3 minutes worth of why he really likes the community. And I said on Twitter a little bit earlier that doing what he did took guts in a way, because he's talking about, yes, there was some pony fans in the audience, but he's talking to a much larger non-fan group and basically singing our praises. So this is the point where you should probably play that file so that people can hear what he said to a crowd of several thousand.
What else? Discord. You want to hear about that? Well, for those of you who don't know it, and I think it's really important actually that you should. I ended up doing a cartoon show Called My Little Pony. Didn't know anything about it. Looked at the material, was really good. Went there, knocked off a couple of them. Completely forgot about it. And then all of a sudden, about 4 or 5 months or 4 months later, I'm inundated. And I go, and people are going, My Little Pony. I go, what? Discord. What? And I turned to my wife and I said, what are they talking about? She said, well, you did a My Little Pony thing. But, okay. And I was my first step into a world that I have become quite fascinated with. And the reason I've become quite fascinated with it is this. It's not My Little Pony. It is Friendship is Magic. And it purports, interestingly enough, a better future. And I went, oh, very interesting. It has a fan base, which are the ages of my sons. Very interesting. And as I'm going further into it, I'm beginning to go, I feel like I'm at the beginning of a really important fan base made up of people who are interested in music, who are interested in art, who are interested in doing good and being good in a world which seems to, at least, I don't know about you people, but as far as I'm concerned, has sort of gone crazy in terms of how mean we've all gotten. And so I'm delighted, and I feel like I'm at the beginning. When I came into Star Trek, along with Patrick, the Star Trek fan base had already been established. Well, I feel like I'm at the beginning, watching, a little bit like that, The Goo, watching the beginning of a new fan base, and I want to invite you, who are Trek fans, to embrace Friendship is Magic fans, because I discovered that we all have a lot in common. So there. All right, next question.
All right, and that's it.
Yep, with the cheering, it ends. And yes, manly tears. and this was just sort of out of the blue, and he didn't really talk about it further than that. And he got cut short because he wanted to talk about the Kickstarter further, but they cut him short. And they go, we got to do the costume contest. Costume contest? Come on. Let
was
the man
that the reason?
Yeah, that was the reason.
I thought he had to do more signing.
They were ending the panels 10 minutes before to shift the next thing in, but the next thing was the costume contest that had to shift everything around anyway.
Man, this is cute. You can't bump him for the costume contest.
Come on, right? We got people in Inuyasha costumes waiting on you.
No, mainly stormtroopers and Ezio Auditore and
I can get behind an Ezio.
I'm cool with Assassin's Creed stuff.
Yeah, Ezio's all right.
But yeah, that was really cool, and just out of the blue. Yeah, you had the people in the crowd screaming, "What else? Discord, woo!" And he just throws it out there. It's like, hey, these bronies, they're kind of like the Trek fans. Y'all have a lot of common. You should embrace it. And that to me was a very telling moment where he basically went out there and said, he went out of his way kind of to say something nice about us. Mm-hmm. Not to say that we're some hated internet minority or whatever, but it's nice to see that somebody like him is going out of his way, and he believes enough in this project to spend time promoting it at the conventions he's going that don't have a dang thing to do with ponies. And that was the thing. Like, not even like the dealers den had anything ponies. None of the small vendors had anything custom. This was all comics and toys and Star Wars and Star Trek. And there was not a single thing pony related. I think I saw 3 people. Well, no. 3 people with pony shirts, and then maybe 4 or 5 other people talking about it.
And there was a Pinkie Pie cosplayer.
Yeah. So
it was pretty
there
pony barren.
Yeah, which is really kind of strange. But, you know, he went out of his way and he was talking to this to anybody who would listen. And that really gave me a positive impression and sort of flipped my opinion on the thing. You know, he's not just doing this to hop on a bandwagon and make some cash. He's trying to basically put us in a good light. So that, you know, I support that. I think that's a good goal. You know, I like being put in good lights.
Do you like being put in good light? Is it? I've heard such things. So, yeah, I think we've both kind of had a little change of a change of opinion, and you know, added with that information and the fact that he seems actually genuine about it. You know, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt, and then, you know, say, all right, let's do this. You know, let's get behind this documentary. It sounds like, you know, if anybody is going to go out there and, you know, try and spearhead hey, this is who these people are, you know, I think John DeLancie is a good enough voice to try and do it. You know, he does have some sway.
Yeah, so I had a change of opinion. I'm glad that I was wrong. I came at this from a position of cynicism and was proven wrong, and that makes me happy.
So how much are we dropping on this? 150? Because that gets us on the special thanks as part of the documentary, and we also get the T-shirts.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll do that.
Can we start a Kickstarter to raise 10K to become producers?
Oh God, that sounds great. So we'll start. Hey guys, we need to start up a Kickstarter. We at least need to get, let's see, 5,000. But if we can make it to 10,000, we'll totally list ourselves and you as all producers.
I promote it if you guys want to throw me on there. Yeah.
Oh God, be crazy.
But we'll need a Kickstarter to fund the next Kickstarter so we can make a Kickstarter. It's Kickstarterception there.
Yo, I heard you like Kickstarter, so I put a Kickstarter into your Kickstarter. So you can raise money while you raise money.
Yeah.
I get a lot of Kickstarters every day.
Yes.
So I have to say, I mean,
as long as we can get, yes, somebody just mentioned, if we can get Gabe Newell to promote our Kickstarter to become, to be the producers, part of the producer team of their Kickstarter, that'd be great.
Somebody in the chat asks, does that also get you going to BronyCon? Maybe AC.
We will have to see. I mean, the finances are unfortunately extremely tight right now. So
yeah,
that's that it would. Sad to say, it would kind of require the BronyCon team to actually like help me with the airfare. So I'm not sure. You know,
because we're not wanting to go out on like another beg fest.
Yeah, you know, I could ask you guys to do it, but you guys have already like donated so much to try and like get us the stuff to do the breakfast. So I, as much as I would want to be like, hey guys, you know, donate to get me over there. You know, we've got 2 conventions that we know we're going to, so you know,
it'll be okay.
It'll be all right.
That's another thing that DeLancie mentioned was that the further beyond what they get, that means that they can go to other conventions and film there as well. So if their Kickstarter for this goes further beyond, they can get people to go to Everfree Northwest or whatever.
I'd be fine with that. That works.
So, you know.
When I was talking to him on the phone yesterday, he said he wanted to bring in the out of the USA people too. A lot of the bronies in like Europe and Australia. Yeah, and Vancouver, of course, Canada. No, he really wants this to be in depth. Like he's dying to make this a perfect portrayal of what our community is made of and what we've accomplished so far. I mean, he's really cool about this stuff. I wasn't expecting too much from him, but after talking to him on the phone for like, an hour or something?
Jeez.
It's just really impressive how he's treating this. It's not just a throwaway documentary. It's very important to him that it does well and it's very accurate in what we stand for.
It's very interesting, just the change of just like, no, these guys are actually pretty cool. I want to talk about them, and just the fact that he'll go and have an hour-long phone call. Like I would have loved to have been just a bug in your ear just to be like, what did you spend an hour talking to John about?
He's very intelligent, so a lot of the discussion was him talking about like Star Trek and his experiences at different conventions and different fandoms and stuff. So I mean, it was just fascinating to hear him talk. He's got a great voice.
He does.
Yeah.
He's got a really cool voice.
It's very, very iconic. Well, that's cool. You know, as said, it is a change of opinion. I am willing to change. You know, I am willing to admit when I was a naysayer from the beginning of this, and you know, when things have turned around and gotten you know, I've gotten to the point where I'm behind it. So I mean, I would, if you've got the money to spend, and of course, here's something to know about Kickstarter. Kickstarter takes out its hunk of money, then they have to spend all the money to make the stuff as part of the Kickstarter. So, you know, that they're already, by the amount of stuff that's going to be in here, and you know, what they're looking at doing, and the hunk taken out by Kickstarter, are going to be, you know, probably back down to the 60,000 that they requested from to begin with. So you're going, you know, any additional that can be tossed their way, you know, if you do have anything left in those pocketbooks, and I know that you guys have donated enough, we're going to toss probably 150 their way unless our Kickstarter takes off. And then, yeah, I mean, that's just what would be kind of cool is, you know, just to see, let's get as good of a portrayal of this entire thing that we can. So yeah, that you can just find that. Go to Kickstarter, just type in BronyCon the documentary. I'm not sure about the title. I hope they make it a little bit more Brony, not specific. Yeah, a little bit more broad. But yeah, just go check that out. It's you know, go help out with that. Hey guys, hey B-Hammy, how you doing? All right, so that will that takes care of the first bit with Mr. DeLancie. That is cool.
Yeah. In case you didn't we respect the guy. In case you didn't know, we respect the guy, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we respect. I always go like, especially with VAs. You know, it's interesting just to go like to see how many of them have really just kind of jumped into the project. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of cynicism of just like, okay, Tara Strong can be really into the Bronies, but come on, John DeLancie's got, you know. Dude has been in Trek forever and things like that. Yeah, he wouldn't care about. No, oh wait, no. This documentary is true. Weird. Yep. Okay, yeah. All right.
So I think we've kind of talked about that enough. So we should probably move on to the nether bits of our news.
All right,
there is some
more news. Do it.
Yep, as I mentioned a little bit before, Kathy Wiseluck has been announced for Everfree Northwest. She is the voice of Spike.
Oh, and we have more. We can type it in and. Who else? Let's see. Shill. I got to get the right name, the right last name. Creber. There you go. And Michelle Creber.
Yep.
That was announced earlier on Everfree Radio that she will be attending the Everfree Northwest. So we have the voice of both Apple Bloom and Spike going to be there. So that's awesome.
And Stephen Magnet.
Woo!
All right, so moving on.
Okay.
The Diablo 3 secret pony level.
Something tells me you've been playing a little bit of Diablo 3 because it's been a little bit hard to reach you this week.
Oh, I admit I have played a lot of it, but I've also had a very busy week. I felt really bad when you sent me the doc last night. I was like, oh man, it's Friday. Dang, I should have made a doc like 2 days ago. But anyways, I am not anywhere near to the level of I need to be for Diablo 3's secret pony level. So it's called Whimsyshire. It is a top tier, top difficulty level dungeon, and you fight things like happy flowers and teddy bears and unicorns of various stripes, and they have multiple like uniques that have various ponies related names, and it's this happy pastel color world of monsters that are going to kill you horribly. And to get into it is actually rather involved, though. I have between I and another friend of mine, we have 3 of the 5 pieces that we need to get in
to enter Pony Realm,
to enter Whimsyshire and get completely murdered by unicorns.
Oh no!
And happy clouds.
So is this
really
is this really pony related, or is it just is it enough? Is it like tangentially like how much does this seem to be relevant?
Well, back in the early on, people complained that Diablo 3 was far too colorful for their liking and claimed that their next thing they were going to add is rainbows and unicorns and happy shiny flowers. And lo and behold, the guys at Blizzard put out a faux splash screen that was Diablo 3 with cute bubble letters, and there was a happy cloud with a rainbow and unicorns and teddy bears and sunflowers.
They did a good trolling, pretty much, yeah.
They did a good trolling to their naysayers there, and then they put them in the game. Initially, the assets had Friendship and Magic names, as was noted on the Equestria Daily, that they were called, like, Twilight Sparkle and stuff. They had to change them for legal reasons, but it's just these cute and cuddly, the rainbows and bears and unicorns. They're cute, but they're still minions of hell and will murder you very, very quickly. So it's just sort of it's a joke back at the early on naysayers that were not really thrilled about the art design and the fact that it's one of the hardest dungeons in the game on any difficulty is kind of amusing.
So does that mean there really is no cow level?
Nope, no cow level this time.
Oh, all right. Well,
There's a
pony
pony
level. Pony level it is.
Also, Anthony Bordain. Speaking of tangential mentions of pony.
He loves Rainbow Dash, I hear.
Yes, apparently she is delicious. So, food connoisseur Anthony Bordain, on No Reservations, was off in some country or another, and they offered him some horse meat, and he's like, "Oh, Rainbow Dash, look at you now," and he just munches some horse meat, and of course he tweeted that now he was getting shit from people, and I'm like, yeah, he probably would, because there's enough unfunny people out there to take offense at that.
He hummed the theme song too.
Yeah, he was like, "My Little Pony," and he's munching horse meat. Poor Rainbow Dash.
Apparently, he's been watching it on the plane rides because all the planes have it now.
Oh, all right. Sandy, add him to the list. I want Anthony Bourdain on our show.
Oh, God, that'd be amazing.
Okay.
Here's my ridiculous demand. I request Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
Let's see. Who do we still have on that list? We've got several personalities still on my list of ridiculous demands.
Yep.
I think, yeah, we've got a few on there. That's great. Yeah, he just makes an offhanded comment, but that is great. The fact that just like Rainbow Dash. Oh, that humors me way too much. And Seth, you said that was like the biggest article recently.
It pretty much was. It's kind of sad considering we've released like interviews and stuff, and they just don't care about those anymore. It's Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain eating horse meat.
Anthony Bourdain. It's amazing.
All it really requires is just community just to like it. I was talking to it with you, Seth, but it's just like this community is just dying for anyone of importance to like bring it up. It would be as much to if well, I guarantee you, if Adam Savage said, you know, "Oh man, dude, that went as fast as Rainbow Dash," like just again, people would lose their brain.
That would be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Would you like me? I could go see if we could find him tomorrow. He's having an event.
You totally should get his take on ponies, record it, and send it. We'll post it.
Yeah.
Well, who's your favorite?
Yeah, we could get Kevin Smith to get really high and watch the show. Don't do drugs, kids.
You kidding? He sees marshmallow colored horses all the time.
But yeah, that's just a weird little like drop out there. Just Anthony Bourdain, just like, "I'm eating food, Rainbow Dash, nom nom nom." Oh boy.
In I have to say, AC, that this week was really bottom of the barrel, scraping it, going, "Hey, there's something here." So Netflix gave a shout out to My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. It is kind of a big deal on Netflix now that both seasons are on there, so you can now marathon season 1 and season 2 all day on your couch for like 18 solid hours or so. You will become one with your couch by the end of it, but you will also ascend to the higher plane of existence, which ponies really do exist. But they posted on their Facebook page, we'll pretend this one's for the kids, but we know you'll watch it too. And they do a Netflix link for My Little Pony on their official Facebook page.
Let's see. So, we have currently 3,000. Adding the two that are up front, we have 3,080 others like this, with 781 comments. Oh boy, here we go. Of course, it's half people going, heck yeah, bro hoof, and the other half of people like, I'm canceling my subscription.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, like you're gonna seriously. I don't want to live without my Netflix. That. Being able to arbitrarily decide that, man, I really want to watch a bunch of insert show here and not being able to do so. I mean, pirating stuff is hard. It takes time. Don't pirate stuff, kids.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Oh, well, okay. That was one thing. And that's because it's whatever. But
it is unfortunate that it is not available in Canada on iTunes or Netflix. But
the best one I see listed here is They Know. And I'm sure they do. It's probably got huge traffic. Let's just say listing of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, 3,080 likes on Facebook. Gandhi, which I believe has won 8 Academy Awards, 623. 8 Academy Awards does not even quadruple.
Every time I pull up my Netflix, we're at the top. Friendship is Magic is always on their top lists.
It annoys my partner to no end. It's like, go to his Netflix queue, Burn Notice, My Little Pony, Mythbusters.
Exactly, it's great.
Oh boy, that'd be one to take to Adam Savage. How do you feel about being upstarted by ponies? You're currently losing to Pony. You need to talk about Rainbow Dash more.
I know I 5-starred it when it first appeared on Netflix, and now Netflix keeps recommending all these cartoons to me.
Yeah, it's like, no, I really don't want to watch Strawberry Shortcake. I do want to watch Ponies, but I'm going to also go over here and watch, Masters of Horror 25, Not really. I'm not into horror films.
Oh, yeah, Freddy Krueger will be here in October with the Dallas Comic Con. Speaking of horror.
Thank you.
Non-pony related, sorry.
The more you know. So, and the last little bit of news we have this week is that, hey, apparently they got around to doing a Pound Puppies ad for season 2 that also featured Andrea Libman
Pinkie
doing
Pie.
the voice for Pinkie. So instead of the horrible, my name is Pinkie Pie from the train commercials, they're actually using her in the commercials on the hub.
Those commercials are so it's Twilight Sparkle's balloon. I'm glad that they actually used Andrea's voice. It's weird with the other VAs.
There was only one Pinkie, and Andrea's her prophet.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was actually really neat. And then at the very end, they brought in all their other pretty much all their other properties to talk about how Pound Puppies is coming back. It was smart. It's pretty smart. It also states us that now a cross-realm communication is canon. So,
Pinkie Pie, you're going to find your way over there, and those Pound Puppies. Well, there's not going to be a pound left.
By the way, computers now officially canon.
Now, video games, yeah.
Yeah.
Pinkie's accessing the PonyNet from the library's connection, and she's going to the deep PonyNet.
She is such a raw hacker. She goes to DEF CON every year, but you never know.
Then of course she's gonna have the Celestial Bureau of Investigation on her, and so many ways I could take this that I shouldn't.
Yeah, but let's step.
It's not just Pinkie though. I mean, Lyra's on Handsmuck every night. And
looking at pictures of the humans the people have drawn. I see these things in my dreams.
Bon, look! They've got fingernails! Okay.
They're like hooves, but smaller.
All right.
AC, we're going to move on to books. You have a fanfic suggestion, because the rest of us don't.
Yep, I'm the only one that has one, and mine's just it's a funny story, it's a simple story, it's a one-chapter fic completed, so you can enjoy it, and it is called The Simpler Time. You know that there's a picture going around, if you actually go to the Simpler Time to the actual main page of A Simpler Time. It's just based off of a single image of, it's where the book fort came from. Book fort Twilight and Lobster Rarity. That weird little image that was around for a while that caught fire. This is a fic made on it. It's 4,130 words. It just involves them going back and talking about their history. It is just a cute, neat little read of them just going, we met each other that early, and this was the silliness we did. So yeah, that's the fic. You can go check it out. A Simpler Time by DJ Lowrider, and of course Seth recommends Ballad of Twilight Sparkle.
Of course,
Ballad
even though it
Twilight
hasn't
Sparkle.
updated in 6 months.
I know.
It's ridiculous. I don't know where that guy went.
Hunt them down, find out. But yeah, that's our fic for this week. Speaking of other projects, we can move on to topic time. The piece of this will be recorded, and for you in the stream, you're gonna just hear us jabber on and keep talking because we'll probably just have some fun for a little while. You listening at home, last week we recorded a little segment with Coder Brony, who is the guy doing the Brony Thank You Fund. So we've had two little ventures that have been coming out recently. The Brony Thank You Fund is the commercial that has been set to air on the hub, and came out before the documentary and was pretty contentious as well. There was some Reddit explosions and things like that happened, and for the most part, it seemed like there was a little bit of misconception. Well, maybe a lot of misconception, but we had some time. Serial was with us, so he was going through and explaining everything that happened. And if you were with us live last week, we had it, but it's not a commercial. It's just it's just the recording we had last week, and M can go ahead and fire it up now. Okay, everyone, we are doing a little pre-recorded bit here, and I still have a Serial here from the week before. Hey, Serial.
Hello.
It's the same week to us, but it is actually a week in the future.
It's in the future.
I know, we're in the future at this point. Everybody in the live stream, this is still the future. This is currently, at this point, the future.
I hope ponies still exist.
Yep. Hopefully. The email will be read back forward in time. We have with us, I know him as Coder Brony. His name that he came up on the Christian Science Monitor article is James Turner. Hello, sir.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you for accommodating my schedule.
I'm glad to have you. A little bit of play with, but we had to record you a week early. But we are making do, and this will be a perfectly fine material and very relevant with what's going on with the fund that you're working on. What two? I know that there are two things. So if you could please outline what those two things you've been doing recently with ponies is.
Well, there's actually
more than one. All right, go for it.
So the first thing I did with ponies is after getting hooked on them and then hooking my son on them was to get really curious about them, because I am, apart from being a professional software designer, a freelance writer. I've written for the Christian Science Monitor, for Wired, a bunch of more technical places. So I'm kind of by my nature inquisitive. And I started saying, okay, who exactly are these people? And more to the point, I'm almost 50 years old. And it was like, is there anybody else there, in my kind of age bracket? So I ran, probably a lot of you saw this, the Brony herd census in January, and produced a 89-page State of the Herd report, which you can find at herdcensus.com, on the herd, with over 9,000 respondents. Yes, over 9,000. And one of the things I depressingly found is there were only 3 people out of that 9,000 person sample who are over 50. So I'm entering the really tail end of the bell curve there, far to the right. The other thing, as you mentioned, whenever I get involved or interested in something, one of the cool things about being a writer is I can go to one of my editors and say, I found this really interesting thing. Can I write about it? Now, just writing about ponies wasn't quite enough, but one of the things I found really fascinating about it was the way that the show is interacting with fans. So I pitched a piece on how the internet is changing how shows interface with the fans. I ended up interviewing the person who had run Joss Whedon's production company during years when he did Angel and Buffy and Firefly and Serenity, and he talked about how Whedon had interacted. I talked to one of the writer-producers for the show Chuck, which had just went off the air and had a real fan show interaction. And then I also talked to Jason Thiessen about how to what extent the pony show is being influenced by the fans and how they deal with that. And I alluded to the whole Derpy incident, and there was just one Derpygate broke. So I was able to kind of bring in the last piece of that. One of the things that came out of that, this is all kind of a flow here, is that I got to know the PR folks over at the Hub. And I had one of those epiphanies without anesthesia that people have at 3 a.m. when I said, there's a way that one of the big concerns people have is, will the show continue? Is there a way that we can show that there's a major demographic out there? I mean, they know there is, but there, you can do a little cheer, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm being condescending to anybody. Things like Seeds of Hope are very big efforts and very worthwhile, but you can do charity stuff like that. You could do shout outs, you could do stuff and post on YouTube. But when you get to the end of the day, DHX doesn't control this show. The Hub doesn't control this show. Hasbro controls this show. Hasbro is a corporation, and by and large, outside of their PR department, the thing that they really care about is their bottom line. And the way that you could directly impact, we as fans, when we go to the store and we buy toys, that just all gets meshed up into their sales figures. They don't have cameras saying, Brony number 741 has just bought a Princess Celestia, and it was pink in store number 241. We're just in there with the sales figures, and they could cancel the show, and we could say, we're not going to, we're going to buy a bunch of shows to show support of this show. They don't know that we're not 6-year-old girls. They're just saying, pretty pony. Mm-hmm. The one way that we could directly impact the show and their bottom line is they are 50% owners of the Hub. The Hub is struggling for advertising right now. They're struggling as a channel. And we can directly show both our thanks for the show and financially support it by taking out advertising, which, by the way, is something no fan group has ever done before, to thank them for the show.
And so that's what's your third thing, which is the recent fund that you're doing to actually put the commercial on the Hub.
Right. In fact, that's actually broken out. The fund is now a separate entity, although it is going to write the check because it has all the money right now. Which started out as a project called the Brony Thank You project. The idea being to have a series of role model bronies read a thank you message to the Hub. And also, let me say, I'll read the message in a second. It has changed a lot from the script. We've had a lot of input from people on the forums that we've set up that helped us change the script, but I'll read the script in a second, which will end with a call for a donation to a charity. We are still in negotiations. We are talking this week, and I'm supposed to get an answer from them next week, to an extremely well-recognized children's national charity about indicating at the end that to support the show, give holiday donations to this charity. And I've got backup charities if that doesn't work out for some reason, but they seem initially interested. Mm-hmm. So it is both going to be a shout out to the show producers. It is going to be support for the network and for the show, and it's going to be a charitable endeavor.
Okay. So
now I just want to say, so the other thing we're doing is we're going to have some leftover money, and one of the things that we've come to realize as we go through this is that there are a lot of charities going on right now, but someone correct me if I'm wrong, there is no 501c3 federally recognized Brony charity, which means that anyone giving money to these charities right now they don't get any tax benefit. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of young and aren't filing Schedule A's yet, so they don't get to deduct charities, but some people do. It also makes it hard for organizations to donate to us because there's a lot of restrictions on who corporations and such can donate to, because it's much easier if they're federally recognized. So that costs money, and it costs time, and it costs distance. And we are going to have all three of those lined up so that we can serve as a transparent, reportable, federally recognized Brony charity in the future. And that's kind of why we incorporated this week, why we set up a board of directors, and why all the money coming in now, because we've already funded the ad, is going to start going into that effort to get 501c3 status and also to donate to charity.
Okay, so let's do this a little bit, because at first I want to. I know that you're a little short on time.
Sure.
First, just hit up the Christian Science Monitor article, and then we'll circle back to the event just to see what information we can do, because there is some questions and some lingering like concerns that I think that can kind of be dealt with or at least clarified that are out there at this time. So your article, which I've linked in the chat that we've got out there, the TV paying too much attention to fans. It's similar. It talks a little bit about the some of the events that were going on with the whole derp explosion. And as you said, you talked to a cast of characters across many different types. What was the? I don't want you to distill, because there's 3 pages of great content inside of here. But what was kind of the when you looked across the spectrum? What did you see? What
everybody I talked to said was that the internet is changing the nature of how fans and shows interact, and the kind of all of them said they would like to find models where they can. They don't, the guy from Chuck had a great quote, which he said, the writing room is already crowded enough as is. We can't, there's no room for the entire internet in the writing room. And there's also the fact that, frankly, when people see the shows, that's 6 to 12 months after the show's been written. So, it's kind of hard to do a turnaround when it says, oh, you shouldn't have killed Bob. Well, we'll bring him back next week. That episode was filmed 5 months ago. But what they do say is they want to find models where they can work more closely with the fans. This whole, the traditional vibe was the shows don't want to have anything to do with us, because if we mention something and we use it, they'll get sued. Well, clearly that's, especially in ponies, that's not happening, right? There's a lot of cross-cultural interchange going on there between the fans and the show producers. And, in talking to Jason Thiessen, I said, you had mentioned a while back that, a lot of the fan stuff is starting to approach show quality. Is there kind of a crowdsourcing model that could happen in the future? And he said he didn't know how that could work, but he'd love to think about it. So, obviously he's not speaking for the Hub or for DHX or anyone, but I think they're all really excited about that. And the other thing that came out of it was that the way that Hasbro especially has gone about this, where they're not stepping on the fans, where they're letting them be creative and building this huge viral vibe out of it, is, I think, brilliant, and something that other content creators are hopefully going to try to emulate. The only other example I've really seen of this where someone just nailed this thing on the block is, I don't know if you know, but if someone uses your content on YouTube, you can make a registration to say, they could do it, just run my ad before they run it. So if you see all the Hitler Reacts videos now, they all run with ads before them, and the money from that is going to the producers of the original film. So I just thought that was freaking fucking brilliant, that, they found a way to let people, do mix-ups with their content, in some cases very irreverent ones, and get a benefit out of it for themselves that made them able to justify it. Instead of saying, oh, you're defaming our property, or you're taking away our revenue by showing this 3-minute clip of the film, we're going to sue you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some valid points inside of there, and just, I think it's quite interesting how, like, the internet kind of took to this, and the ability to kind of the fact that you can post on Lauren Faust's wall, and if if she feels like it, she can be like, oh yeah, hey, this is what was going on with that. That's something that at least recently, or at least as far as I'm concerned, was kind of the first time I've really encountered that, where it's like, oh, the production team really likes the fact that that people really enjoy this and are willing to say, hey, we really are happy that you're so psyched for it. This is what was in our heads.
Ponies wasn't the first. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Serial.
The ponies wasn't the first time that's happened. The Adventure Time cast has also been pretty prevalent about that, but ponies is definitely the biggest I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is I want you to think about this because at the end of the day, Hasbro makes the call here. They're the IP holder on ponies. So you've got, what does Hasbro do for a living? What is their product line? This is being Socratic here. They make toys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So what does it mean when Jason Thiessen goes to, God, I'm going to blank our name, White Dove, who's one of the, as you may know, is one of the best plushie makers on DeviantArt, who makes what? Toys, and what of? Ponies, and orders one. Right? This is something that Hasbro could have said, oh, that's way, and he's not Hasbro, he's DHX, but, he answers up the chain. So, the fact that they said someone who conceivably could be seen as directly competing with our product line, the thing that we make money on. Now, they don't make high-end plushies, but they do make toys. No, we're going this guy who is the executive producer of the show is ordering one of these toys. That to me just shows how much it's changed.
Mm-hmm. That they're actually reaching out, and just the quality of stuff that's being made out there, and that that's kind of the give and take of like the fandom itself is so large, so therefore the number of creative people is large, so therefore the quality of stuff that's being made is usually very good. So you're kind of like the more of a zeitgeist there is, the better it becomes. So it's yeah, thank you, Tetra Pony. But
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the what's being generated out there is pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad that a lot of this a lot of the information on this kind of circles back around to the whole Derpagate, Derpsplosion, Derpa whatever, to the kind of the nasty opposite side. But there's definitely the massive benefits. I mean, heck, the production team loves us, like just adores us, and it'd be nice if Hasbro knew more about us and the more specifically.
Actually, I was at an event in Boston recently talking about technology and toys, which my workplace nicely let me go to because I do mobile development, and they were talking about mobile apps there. But I went to a dinner the night before for the Ruckus Reader folks, and I ran into the director of publishing for Hasbro because they're the people who are doing the My Little Pony things. And he said they love the bronies there. So Hasbro has, at groups that have nothing to do with producing the show, know about it and understand it.
Okay, well
that's cool.
That's good. That's good to call about. They should answer my calls though. I want to be bros. Come on. Okay, well let's move on to the charity fund, the
Sure.
new hotness that you're doing. So you have set up, what's the webpage again? I don't have it right off the top of my head.
Okay, if you want to still support the commercial, which is as I said, funded, but the advantage of supporting it through the commercial site is we have some perks we're offering there, like a Pixel Kitties print she's going to do for us. That you can go to. It is God, wrong page. Hang on a second. It's probably easier if I just send you the link and then you can send it out to everybody. But it's on Indiegogo. So I believe it's www.indiegogo, that's IE, .com/brony. And currently, I didn't check recently, but I haven't gotten any new money this afternoon. I believe we're up to, wow, I can't spell brony to save my life right at the moment.
It's been put in the chat.
Yeah, we're up to 14,850.
Okay.
That's crazy.
For the foundation site, or sorry, we're not a foundation, we're a New Hampshire non-exempt, or exempt 901c3. Well, we're not a 501c3 yet. That was a slip of my tongue. We're working on that. But for the New Hampshire nonprofit, that would be just BronyThankYouFund.org. And if you go there, you can order our beautiful logo which is different from the poster that's going to be done on T-shirts, because we've got our Cafe Press thing. And frankly, if you just want to give money to support the charities we're going to be supporting, donate there because it's a direct PayPal donation to us and it doesn't go through the 4% that Indiegogo pulls out of it. And so we'll get donations made there.
Okay. So let's see. Let's talk about, because Well, first, let's see. Tell you what, let's talk about the commercial. Then we can loop to the other one. So you have this idea, and that has raised well over its $2,000 goal to put a commercial up on the hub, as you said a little earlier, just to hey, the hub really likes money, because that is how the hub and Hasbro kind of makes a lot of its cash off of that network that's currently it's afloat, but could probably use a few more buckets.
Right. Well, the other thing I want to mention, by the way, is that $2,000 was to fund. They gave us 2 quotes, because I said to them originally, "What happens if we wildly overfund?" So they gave me a quote for a single run, and I should mention we can't run it during the show because of FTC regs. You can't advertise a show during a show, so it has to run. The best we could do would be the segment right before it. But what they actually quoted us out is on the Friday Night Movie, which is their highest rated show. So I have a quote for one showing on that, and then they have a quote, which is the one we actually ended up raising the money to support, which was for 10 placements during the week in prime time, including one during the Friday Night Movie.
Okay. So we've got 10 times that the commercial would come up for the 14 that's out there right now.
Well, a little less than that, but there's also other costs, like we have to print the prints, and we have to do background checks on the people who are going to appear on in the commercial and things like that, if it all kind of add up.
Okay. So there was definitely, I know that there was some Reddit stuff that happened. There's been a little bit of confusion, a little bit of like feelings about the project. And I think that this is a good way for us to ask some questions to kind of air exactly what's going on with it.
Sure.
So a lot of people kind of saw this. So there's tons of charity work that's being done out there right now, and great stuff that the Bronies for Good are doing. A lot of stuff that is being done. They've got the Ugandan clinic that they're helping out with, and some of the VAs themselves and the production team have their own charities that they're working for. And I know that there were some people that I think one of the main sentiments that I heard is like, what does this benefit? A lot of people just went, well, it's $14,000 that could be spent better, was a lot of what I was seeing.
Well, I mean, I can turn that around, and I'm not in any way going after you guys. Who does Breakfast for the Crew benefit for?
Yeah,
it's a way of saying thank you.
Yeah,
we are buying a gift for them. That is separate from doing charity. Now, the reality is we can do 2 different things. And I think one of the reasons that I went along with this is, A, it became obvious we were going to have extra money left over, and we started saying, well, what can we do something more than just give the extra money to charity, to a charity and be done and go away, given we've kind of proven that we've got this ability to get things going. The other thing is, I think people have lost the of just saying thank you. Right? I mean, and praising something that's good. If you go to a play and the play is really good, what do you do at the end? You get up and you give it a standing ovation. Right? There are very few ways the fans can give the show is a public standing ovation that more than just people who happen to watch a Brony video or see some. I mean, no one, unfortunately, this is the reality. No one is ever going to hear about the charity work that we do outside of our community, and maybe the people directly involved and some people who hear about it very peripherally. If we want to publicly stand up, clap our hands together and say, we think you're doing a really good job, you have to do it publicly. And there are very few ways to publicly thank people. This is one of the very few ways, and unfortunately it costs money. Mm-hmm.
And another one that was out there, and I know this has been addressed, but this is just to clean the laundry a little bit. There was concerns of, this is going to be aired out. There's going to be parents that are going to see it. Parents are going to search on Bronies. They're going to find out about us. Oh God, they're going to find out about us. And there was just a concern of, who is going to be in it, what is going to be portrayed. So if you could explain a little bit of what the process you've got set for that.
Sure. So first of all, let me say, I want to address in general just oh my God, they'll find out we're Bronies things. Just for fun this morning, there's something my son referred to, which is called the 3-page Google check, which is if you Google a term and in the first 3 pages you don't go, oh my God, ick, then you're probably okay. And we did that on Bronies, and you get very innocent stuff, even in the image searches in the first 3 pages doing Bronies. And I don't think, oh my God, someone said Brony once, by the way, in this commercial. We're going to go Google this and then spend a day and a half doing intensive research on it. if a parent is really curious, and most of them probably just say, "Oh, that's nice. Some older people are supporting the show," and did Google it, they'll find out good things, I think, by and large, about our community. The other thing I want to say is a lot of people who seem to be making these kind of statements, a lot of it has been coming out of Reddit, 4chan, and PonyChan. And I am not going to say anything negative about those guys. Ponies kind of came out of 4chan to begin with, but I think the nature of those sites is they kind of celebrate snarkiness and cynicalness and memishness and things like that as kind of like the things that get you the most attention. And so when they start talking about that stuff, that's kind of naturally the stuff that is going to happen. And I think it kind of feeds into his self-image that, oh my God, because they make jokes about Rule 34 all the time over there, or someone likes to post, clop pics all the time over there, that's what the whole fandom's about. That's what people outside the fandom are going to think of it. And they do a lot of psychological projection and say, that's what people are going to think of us. The other thing is, just in the nature of who we're picking to do this, I mean, I'm making no, here. We are going for, what someone described to me as third-grade heroes, right? First responders, soldiers, doctors, professional businessmen, craftspeople, things like that. So this is not going to be a bunch of people sitting in front of their webcams reading the stuff. This is going to be very high-quality stuff. We're not accepting anything that isn't HD. We put very clear specifications on the submission page about what we're looking for in quality. We're going to fully background check these people. We're going to crowdsource out them to the internet and let people try to find the least savory things they can about them, because we'd much rather find about it beforehand than afterhand. And what I basically say in the call for submissions is, think of it as running, if you thought running for political office meant you had to be squeaky clean, you haven't seen anything. We are really looking for people who, what I call the mother with the 6-year-old daughter test. If someone found, Googled this person and felt creepy about it, who is a mom of a 6-year-old, typical mom of a 6-year-old, we not making any judgments about their lifestyle, we just can't use them because it focuses away from the message we're trying to present, and it makes it another message instead. Mm-hmm. So in terms of the actual script itself, I'll read it to you because there's also been a lot of misunderstanding about what's going into the script. There was an early draft, which I will admit was over the top. It's what you get when you write a script at 2 in the morning. But the current version, which was hashed out on our forums and back and forth, and input from is, "Hi, we're bronies." And what you have to imagine is in between each sentence, there's going to be a cut and a new brony is going to go on. "Hi, we're bronies. We're fans of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and we'd like to say thanks. Thank you to Hasbro and the Hub for creating such a fantastic show. Thanks to DHX Media and all the animators for making it so beautiful to watch. To the voice actors and singers for bringing the characters to life. To the composers for creating such wonderful music. And to Lauren Faust and the writers for bringing a little more honesty, loyalty, laughter, generosity, kindness, and magic into the world." Then it's going to fade to a title card that's going to say something like, to help us support or help us show our, I don't have the exact wording, actually I do have the exact wording in the script. Here we go. Go to the script itself. "Help us in showing appreciation for the show by donating My Little Pony and other toys to fill in the charity this holiday season." Fade to black. And it'll have a musical track behind it that I've already had 2 Hollywood composers who are bronies say that they would like to take a stab at it. I'm sure lots of other fans, we're going to have an open submission process for the soundtrack. Whoever we pick, William Anderson has already said he'll help with the production on it, work with that person to just make it totally sweet for the video.
All right, sounds good. Serial, you have any little questions on that, or?
Oh, no, you pretty much covered everything I was even going to ask about.
There you go. Anything else that you wanted to say, sir? Trying to think. We kind of hit all the bases in one fell swoop.
Right. Well, let me first of all, I want to address one thing because, sure. And this was a little saddening because I've actually tried to reach out to the Bronies for Good people and say, hey, I already saw on your website that you guys looked at 501c3 and didn't want to do it because it is a very complicated, it's a 15-page form. Could we work together? But then I saw they'd done a Facebook post where they basically said, who the hell are these guys? And why should you trust them? And and what transparency, and why did they elect a board of directors, which, by the way, is because you have to have a board of directors if you're a corporation. And the people who elect the initial board of directors are the incorporators, so it's not something you do in a public democratic fashion. And by the way, I should mention that on our board of directors are Haybuck, Travis Fitzgerald, who is the head of Brony's Boston and the PR director for BronyCon. Pixel Kitties is on the board of directors, and we have a friend of mine who is a CEO of a medium-sized electronics firm, already sits on the board of a nonprofit, and he's kind of there for balance because it's a charity, and it would be good to have some. It's traditional in the board of directors of a charity not just to have it all be people who are directly involved in it, but to have someone who's got to give some outside balance. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to give you my 2-minute bio here, if it's kind of relevant to this. I mentioned I'm almost 50, so I've got a lot of water under the bridge. I live in New Hampshire. My wife's got is going for a PhD in experimental psychology. I have a 17-year-old son who, again, I turned on to being a bro. I'm really proud of him. He started wearing the T-shirts to school, and he's got an Applejack hanging on his backpack. And when you go to a 3,000-person school, it takes some guts to do that. I founded in college a nonprofit that recorded science fiction fantasy for the blind. I was deeply involved in Boston science fiction fandom in the 80s. I had 6 committee positions on Boston 24, which had 4,200 people at it. I published the program book for 2 cons. I ran a small convention. I founded and started the Genie Science Fiction Fantasy Roundtable. Genie was a competitor to CompuServe and The Source back when he had dial-up modems. I've run a C Corp for several years. I filed federal corporate tax returns for 3 years on that. I have owned and operated a limited liability corporation for, I think, 8 years now. I founded and organized a 120-person medieval music event that ran for 5 years and produced CDs from it for charity that sold about 300 copies each. And this was 15 years ago when it was a big thing to produce a CD. I was the treasurer for a local branch of the Society for Creative Anachronisms. I've been a 4-H leader for 9 years. I'm organizing a statewide New Hampshire 4-H shooting sports event in the fall. I've written 3 books. I'm a nonprofit. I ran the Brony Census. So I like to think that, except for the fact that I don't have her physical organizational skills, because if you saw my office right now, it looks like Rainbow Dash just did demolition on it. But I'd like to think for the rest of Twilight Sparkle kind of lives in me. I like to organize. I'm an organizer of things.
Okay.
I feel far underqualified to be sitting near you.
You've done a few more things than us.
Well, I've also had a few more years under the bridge.
That's true.
Oh, and by the way, I've been a senior software engineer for 33 years in addition to that.
I'm going for a degree in CS. I respect that.
Cool. Send me your resume when you're out.
Oh boy, making connections here.
Hey, send me your LinkedIn. LinkedIn. There's no pony on LinkedIn. That's really depressing. But so as far as the fund goes, as I said, we're probably going to end up with in the neighborhood of $500 to $3,000 left over at the end of the process. Now, filing for federal 501c3 status takes about $850 just as a fee to the federal government. You also really need to have a lawyer look over it because it is, just go look for Form 1023. If you want to have fun, Google Form 1023 and read it. And it is 15 pages of tell us everything in the world about us with additional supporting pages for each question. Luckily, and this is incredible, this is someone who doesn't even support the video, doesn't think the video is a great idea, but likes the idea of the fund, who is a Brony lawyer with an expert in taxation, has volunteered to do pro bono work for us to review and assist us in filing our 1023. So our goal is when all this is said and done, and frankly, we're going to be done with the fundraising and kind of be in the getting the videos in it mode in about a month. We want to work really hard. We're going to have some money. The sense of the board of directors is if we have $2,000 or more, we're going to spend $850 of that to do the filing, and the rest will go to charity. If we don't have that, then we'll hold off because we want to do the charity first, so we'll just give some money to charity and wait until we can raise the $850. When we're done with that, we have a general tax-deductible nonprofit which has to file federal, open to the public, readable by anybody, returns every year that describe exactly where we spent our money, exactly how much we took in, exactly who it went to. We can support other Brony charities through this, we could serve as a funnel that they can go through. We could set up a designated fund. We could, if the guys were willing to, set up a Bronies for Good fund inside of our charity where money given specifically to that, we could pass on to them, and they would, assuming that they pass muster as someone who the IRS says we can give money to, and people giving to it would get the tax-deductible benefit. Also, people who are collecting money right now for charities, that's a real landmine if you don't have a corporate structure around you. Because the IRS could just come and say, oh, that was all personal income you collected there. Please give us 20% of it. Mm-hmm. And then, so there's also,
that's what I did with any of this stuff that happened this year. It all was 20% taxed, anything that got submitted to me. So I was like, all right, whatever. Right,
probably because you can't file a Schedule A.
Right. So
you could say, well, I gave it to charities, so it counterbalances each other.
And it costs $800 a year to have a LLC in California.
Right. By the way, it's only $25 in New Hampshire to form a nonprofit.
Unfortunately, it requires no matter where it is founded.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm saying you could have founded in New Hampshire. Oh, I guess because you got to operate in California.
Because they got to live in California, it still applies.
For us, it was $25 once, and then we were out of it.
Yeah.
We had to file a form with them every 5 years with no money attached.
Yeah.
But New Hampshire is really good about setting up corporations. So, we're going to get this thing going. I certainly have lots of experience. I know how to do double entry bookkeeping. I have lots of experience in getting these forms filled out. I'm sure we've already had some people step out of the woodworks and say, I know how to do accounting and I'd like to help out. So, I would like to, right now I'm acting as both president and treasurer. I would like to move out of the treasurer role eventually, and someone else can have our bank book and, deal with that side of it. And I'll work on stuff like this and fundraising and keeping the board together and all the other things the president does. Actually, the chairman keeps the board together, which I also am. Mm-hmm. But, I just think that it's really easy. It's because there is no central Brony council. A lot of people have been saying, why didn't you ask us permission? And who gave you permission to do this? Who would I have gone to? Other than standing up at BronyCon and saying, hey, is it okay to do this? There isn't any central organization. So, people just start these things.
There's laughingly a Poluminati, as it is called. There's laughingly one kind of, but it's not like there's an actual board or head or anything that really approves.
But that was for conventions.
No, that is for conventions, but that's the Brony Council Poluminati is mainly just a bunch of people who are do stuff in the fandom, and if something happens that's outside of it, it's whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the other thing you have to realize is, right, the Every Free folks know about this and don't seem to be objectionable to it. The Canterlot Garden folks said, could you please come down and show us the rough cut when it's ready? BronyCon, I've got one guy from there on my board, and I know, Andrew, who runs it, and he's never said word one negative about it. So, the elite of the con world seems to be okay with it. I think a lot of the negativism that's coming out of this is coming out of people who tend to see things. I mean, I've seen a lot of posts which just said nothing good can come of this, which I think is the most. How do you make a statement? Nothing good will come of this. That someone would have to have such a negative attitude.
Well, that's internet speak. That's
right.
That's straight internet speak of just dismiss it, say it's bad,
Right, TRDR,
yeah.
TLDR, bad idea. So. And I want to mention one other thing, because a lot of people are saying it's going to make us look creepy. It's going to, what will a 6-year-old's parents say? To some extent, I don't really care what a 6-year-old's parents say. They probably tune commercials anyway. But I want to say what it says to a 6-year-old. And I posted this on our website a while back. I think it is really sad that, that 6-year-old in 7 years, if they still have a Rainbow Dash sticker on their backpack, they're going to start getting crap from all their friends. That's a kid's thing, Why don't you have, fill in Justin Bieber of the moment on your backpack? And I want that kid to remember a Marine talking about how much he loved ponies, a doctor holding a pony plushie while they talked about how much they liked the show, and realize that it's okay and you can succeed and you can be a healthy adult and still love childish things. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the C.S. Lewis quote I've got on the website.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'll just read an excerpt of it because it's long. But I'm not by any means a huge C.S. Lewis fan. I'm Jewish for one thing, but he was certainly a good writer and an excellent intellectual. And what he said in part at the end here, he says, "When I was 10, I read fairy tales in secret and would have been ashamed if I had been found doing so. Now that I am 50, I read them openly. When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness and the desire to be very grown up." And I'd say personally, I adopt that. I wear pony shirts to work, and I work at a 3,000 person, nearly $1 billion corporation. I organized a pony viewing over lunch one day, and my manager actually paid to have pizza brought in for it. And we had 10 people in the room watching Return of Harmony. People make pony jokes when we're in meetings together. I found one other brony at work, and I'm hoping to convert the other guy who's on my board of directors into a brony. He's promised he's going to watch some episodes now. So I think we have to take this back. I think that this being so afraid to be known for this, or for people to know about this because everyone will make fun of us, we need to take it back and give the impetus on them to say, what's wrong with liking a show that celebrates these virtues in a funny, intelligent way, rather than going and watching direct like Jersey Shore or, as I said, Offensive Workplace with people fighting number 47 reality show. Those shows celebrate that we should all be bad to each other. This is a show that says you can have disagreements, you can not get along with each other, but you can still be good to each other. Mm-hmm. And it does it in a funny, entertaining way. And, it just drives me insane when people are ashamed to say that they like it.
Well, that's part of the reason that we put this show and put it out publicly is that, it's out there. So people who can't, that don't have somebody to actually stand up and talk next to have at least, someone in their ear that's, saying stuff that they can find out about, the show, and that they can have some familiar voices that they can follow along with, just kind of geek out about stuff. So,
right. Right. It only takes one person sometimes to break the ice. Because since my son has started walking around with that stuff at his school, he's had 12 bronies come out of the woodwork. And they've got a whole little clique now of bronies. But, and I think having these really strong role models publicly saying that they like the show, people who nobody's going to look at and say, oh, that person's wasted their life, is going to help to start the conversation that it's okay to like this stuff and it doesn't make you a loser.
And if people are concerned about the commercial being weird on the hub, let's just remember that it's full of puppet blankets and butterfly gardens. So there's plenty of weird commercials too.
Let's not forget the feminine hygiene product ads.
The gyro bowl. I still want a gyro bowl.
I want a gyro bowl.
Still want a gyro bowl. All right. Well, Coder, I think we probably need to go ahead and cut at some point.
I've kind of exhausted my to-do list here, things I want to talk about. I hope. Let me just end by saying I hope people continue to support the fund, but more important, I hope that people will talk to people who take the time to research it, really find out what we're doing, and talk to people who are spreading misinformation. I have no trouble with people who, at the end of the day, say, I don't think this is a positive thing, having researched it. But I'd like to try to keep the just, fomenting, grab a pitchfork and a torch and head out to the castle stuff to a minimum. And anybody, let me just end by saying, anybody who wants to intelligently discuss this with us, we're open to it. And you can get to us at our forums, which is where we're doing all the public discussion, which is bronies.lefora, which is LEFORA.com. And I will send that link to you right now.
All right.
And we would love to have more people involved. We have, as I said, about 30 people 35 people, 36 people as of today, involved in it, and would love to have more.
All right, just link that in the chat so they can go and check that out, everything there. All right, well, that will go ahead and take care of us. Thank you very much, Coder Brony, Mr. Turner, as many are calling you in the chat, it looks like right now. So thank you very much for jumping in on the show, clearing all that up, and good luck for all the great donation stuff looks like coming down our way.
All right, well, thank you for talking to me.
All right, cool deal. All right, let's see. Let's do email. Let me check the timestamp so M doesn't hurt me. All right, email time. You can email across to us at bronyville@gmail.com. We love your email, and please send it across to us. We have so much. Next show is going to be an email show, so you can enjoy that. And we will chat with all of you, so keep them coming in, and we can talk about all the delicious pony. I will start first. Chef always is second. Seth, if you would like to get thirds, and Inky fourths. Sound good?
Sure. Okay.
All right, let's do this. Jello won Arto Fox War M here. Woo. All right.
That's a first sentence.
Yep, that is. Greetings, O ponies of the podcasting kind. Congrats on keeping up for this long, and here's hoping for more. Been listening since episode 6 or something. Wow, there you go. Hope you're doing all right there, sir. And always paces up a work day or biking trip if I'm listening to you yammer about ponies. If you remember that have some background music suggestion last summer, that was moi. Yeah, we should probably also have bumpers at some point. Anyway, keep it up. I seem to also pick up a lot of good music nowadays from your cast, and a lot of other pony-related stuff work following too. That is, yes, the pony-related music. Starry has started doing it, and she's doing a great job. So to continue on, as so many have said, love the show. Not sure if I have much to add. Oh, right, Rarity is best pony. I think that's necessary to add. Yes. P.S. I'm also increasingly jealous of Mids being in here so regularly, as I know him RL. In a good way, mind you. It's hilarious when he's there with you. foxowar.deviant.com is the place I stash arts of the pony kind. Click. Well, Rarity is a weird way to say Twilight, but all right. Click. Yep, and there's pony art. The dude wears a bandana and a top hat and is wearing a Rarity shirt, wearing sunglasses. Rarity's wearing sunglasses on the shirt.
Okay.
Yep. That's pimping out his stuff there, but yep. Glad you listened for that long. Let's see. Sandy Face?
All right. Dear Apple Cider, Chef Sandy, the mysterious Starry Night, and whomever your wonderful guest or guests may be. Firstly, I would like to congratulate you on passing 1 year of production. Having only discovered your podcast recently, I'm proud to say I've powered through all the episodes and I'm finally up to date. So thank you for providing the hours of entertainment. So, AC, this person sat through at least 80 hours of us talking.
At least. If not, well, add some of it. Could be getting towards 100.
You poor man.
I know.
On to my question. Being fairly new to the Brony community, I'm yet to venture forth through the internet to get to know my fellow Bronies. So I was wondering if you could provide any helpful pointers towards good places to meet and talk to other Bronies. Having stayed mostly silent on the internet, give or take a few comments, I find this task quite daunting, and I'm not sure how to go about it. Any help you can provide would be most welcome. Your faithful listener, Sky Dash. Despite what my chosen name may suggest Pinky as best pony, closely followed by Fluttershy.
Yay.
So, well, I think we should help this young man, this young colt.
Sure.
Assuming it's a guy. I feel so bad doing that. I'm assuming you're male because you're on the internet.
Sir or madam.
Sir or madam. There we go. So, what are active places on the internet? Well, there's, last I checked, Canterlot.net was a active message board community. There's the Rainbow Dash Network for microblogging and the like. There's always Tumblr. If you're looking to do real life stuff, there's always our meetup. There's always meetup groups. So you can go to bronies.com. And that is the master list of the meetup groups, of which there are many. If you're in Wyoming, Montana, or Idaho, you're probably out of luck. But anywhere else, I mean, even Utah has a group. In Salt Lake City, there is a group in pretty much every single state in the union. Maine, Louisiana.
It could even reach Canada.
Well, actually, I know there's a New Orleans group, but just not on the map.
Oh.
So yeah, there is a group in pretty much every state except for like 4. There's an Iowa group.
Oh, there's one in North Dakota.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, Hawaii. Or maybe Hawaii has one. I don't know.
Hawaii has one in Honolulu.
Ooh.
So, they're pretty much a group in any major city in your state. And if you don't live somewhere near a major city, there's always online. There's the artist groups on Tumblr. I mean, what else have I not? What have I missed? Come on,
Pony-chan.
There's a lot of Steam groups if you want to play video games. The My Little Pony Steam group is huge.
Yep, that one has something on the order of 28,000 people, I think.
Mm-hmm. You could go. You could always try Pony-chan. If you really want to face it, you could go on to 4chan's MLP. If you feel like if you want to go into hardcore mode, there you go.
Don't do that, kids.
That place has kind of turned into just a bunch of shipping lately.
Yeah, it's pretty
There's
nuts.
a lot of ship yourself with ponies, which they were really against back in the day.
Back in the day, what, a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
This is the internet.
Yeah, things go by pretty quick online.
Times are a-changing on 4chan.
Just save yourself some trouble.
Let's see. Other places.
Don't do 4chan, kids.
Well, I mean,
My Little Pony Friendship Magic public group, 28,088 members, with 10,281 of them online right now at 9:33 p.m. Central Standard Time on May 19th, 2012.
7:33 Pacific Standard Time.
Synchronize your watches.
Swatches.
Let's see. One that I would say, I think that there was one that I had right on the tip of my tongue. If you've got a convention that's nearby, there could be forums, and that would be a great way if you're thinking about going to said convention to actually interact with people that you will meet there. So that could be a good idea if you're close to, any of the Brony cons, the Everfree Northwest, the Canterlot Gardens, TrotCon, whichever you're going to go to interact with people that you might actually end up meeting there. So that's a valid a valid choice you can have if you wanted to do that and actually build up something that you could do in meet space. So nod.
Yes.
All right, that sounds good. Let's move on. Let's see. Next will be Seth. Let me get your next one.
All right. We got Dear Apple Cider, Chef Sandy, RGITB, guests, and live Bronyville attendees. I and many other bronies have observed that the awkwardly titled Mystery on the Friendship Express should have been called Cakes on a Train, as this would have been an awesomely bad pun. I'd like to know, are there any other episodes from either the past seasons that you have a better title for? Bearing in mind that Read It and Weep was originally called Reading Rainbow, and the writers made a decision to change it in the end. What punny opportunities do you think they missed out on? Andrew, Southampton, UK.
Okay, I need to pull up the episode list just so I make sure.
It's a tough one. They're usually really good at busting out the puns.
Let's see.
I'm kind of thinking that, I don't know.
I mean, Reading Rainbow really was one that was just like too perfect to push by, but it was just a little bit too dangerous.
Yeah.
I think Sweet and Elite probably could have had a better title. It's one of the better episodes, puts Rarity up there on the list, but it doesn't say anything by its title. Sweet and Elite, what does that mean? If you take it by itself, it doesn't really tell you anything about the episode. What's going on?
Yeah, I feel that about Look Before You Sleep.
Yeah. Because that doesn't really have anything to do with the story. It's about conflict between people with differing personalities. But like Sweet and Elite is not forgetting your friends and where you come from, which you don't really get anything from the title.
Have you guys ever discussed the title Lesson Zero and what it actually is a kind of a pun on?
I've always been curious about that, actually.
Go for it.
It's less than zero. I don't know what the original.
Oh, I feel so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know what the original origin is, but it's a Robert Downey Jr. movie from like the 80s or 90s, and he's a drug addict and he's on coke, and it's just kind of going down the spiral. And the film's called, and he basically starts to go crazy, and that reminds me of Twilight in that episode. But yeah, I think that's what that's a callback to.
So it's Robert Downey Jr. being Robert Downey Jr. playing Robert Downey Jr. in a movie.
No, old Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, new Robert Downey Jr. is awesome and plays Iron Man really well, and it's Tony Stark.
Okay, so if I lose the Coke, but I still act like I'm kind of a jerk, I can make a lot of money. All right, I'll do it.
Awesome.
He's so perfect for that role.
So, yeah, I think that's really about it, though, because, I mean, most of the episodes of the show are really, their titles kind of tell you a little bit about the episode. Sisterhood Social is really to the point. May the Best Pet Win, the competition. Mysterious Melderwell, don't know about that one. But, like,
I like Mysterious Melderwell. For everything wrong about that episode, I like that episode for Melderwell as a character. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't hate it. I can't hate that episode because I thought that was a neat character idea. Regardless if
Rainbow looks so bad,
because Rainbow is a bad character. But
no,
but
Fat Pony and Snow.
But I mean, just like Melderwell is such like a cool design. I mean, it's just like Darkwing Duck, pretty much pony. And I love it. And yes, I understand that the show is weird and disjointed. Probably not one of the better episodes of the season, but it just had such a great design and such smart like stuff behind it.
Yeah.
And yes, I understand that the entire end of the episode is just like, we were lying to you the whole time. Ding was just like, oh, this was the lesson.
Instead of saying, hey, you're being kind of a jerk, you just humiliated me publicly and put me in my place. Thanks, guys.
Everyone, and at the end of the episode, everyone's a jerk. Oh. All right. Well, good to bring it down, Seth or Inky. If you shall, sir.
Here we go. Hey there, Chef Sandy and Apple Cider. There are a lot of fics out there, a lot. There are times when new readers don't know where to start and when avid readers don't know what to fix next. The MLP Find a Fic blog aims to fix that. Essentially, it's a blog that I started so that those who need to quickly find their next fic to read can do so and expect consistent updates. With the school year winding down and the summer drought approaching, I know there are tons of bronies out there that are going to want to find some good reading material. If you could do a quick plug for the blog, perhaps during the listener mail section, I'd be more than ecstatic. Give the blog a look and a follow at mlpfanficreviews.tumblr.com. Thanks, Winter's Arrival.
Only problem is the link doesn't work.
I'm fixed it. I found it. That link is bad, but I will add it with a link that is good.
Okay, because I was like, how long ago did this guy get an email in? This is an email we found fossilized left over from like episode 26 of season 1, right?
No, it was from this week.
All right, so there, I fixed it. It goes to mlpficreviews.tumblr.com. You can go to that. We have saved you, sir. You owe me a cookie.
Yay.
Cookies are great.
There we go. I see some Lyra. I see some Scratch. I see some Octavia, and I see some Derp. So there is some reviews there, so you can check that out. If you are looking for fanfic and want some the personal touch for finding out if it's good, you can certainly go that way. Let me click these closed. All right, my turn. Dear Ponies, I've been listening to your show for, about 2 or 3 weeks, and I really like what I hear. I'm a pony writer primarily, although I've dabbled in songwriting and rap. Never got around to recording any, though. Might go checking out my little remix. I was intrigued by your comment last week about how heteroship is really rare and often frowned upon. I don't always read ship, but when I do, I prefer Bobcat. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a great favorite of mine since I'm a big fan of Solar Jack, and I also dig the sequel Semper Fidelis. If you want a serious laugh, read How Every Shipfic Would Actually Happen by The Only. Rainbow Dash's best pony. Being at least 20% cooler. Oh, jeez. Can't believe I just said that again.
Put one in a nickel jar.
Yep. Then any pony else on the charts, not to mention super ultra extreme awesome amazing. Best episode, Read It and Weep. I don't know. Why did I get this one? I don't know why anyone wouldn't like Rainbow Dash, but hey, that's not my problem. I would admit that while I was a little slow to tolerate Rarity, Celestia, and even Pinkie Pie, I have now warmed up to them completely and now say truthfully that there is no pony I don't like. I did have one question related to the finale, and I hope if you could help me puzzle out. How the heck did Rainbow Dash go so dang fast without steroids? Pony steroids, dog. I mean, the last time she did a sonic rain boom, she was driving from an extreme height and barely managed to boom 10 feet off the ground. Not to mention she only pulled it off because she was pumped on adrenaline trying to save Rarity from falling to a T-rated death on a G-rated show. Then in Royal Redding, she's like, whatever, yeah, I'm going to take off like light speed and pop this thing in 2 seconds on a vertical climb. What's up with that? Bro Hoofs and Smiles, Sir Squidfish. P.S. Welcome to the herd, Amanda. The last Omega. Yeah, go defend your girl there, Sandy.
It's the power level progression throughout the season. In season 1, episode 16, she had not yet pulled it off, but I'm going to guess in the intervening time between the end of season 1 and the tail in the very last episode of season 2, assuming they're anyway chronological, she would have practiced and gotten better at it.
That's not it.
That's not it.
She was supercharged by the power of love between Cadence and Shining Armor.
That's not it.
Yes, their magical.
You don't actually see it, but it's not actually Rainbow Dash. She actually had just the Wonder Bolts do it. She just took a nap.
Yeah, she did it. That's just sort of how it is. It's a cartoon.
Applejack bucked her really hard out of the window and gave her a start.
Yep. I'll go with that.
Yeah, so it's like the most practical answer, the best answer. It was the practical for the writers.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen kind of the progression throughout the season. I know, Twilight at the beginning would be like, pick up a book. Now she's just like, repair a dam. The entire teleporting is so hard by the end of it. She's just like, pap, 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 just going here and there. So,
well, then you have to think about, not only did she progress in power level with her teleport, at the end of Dragon Quest, she mass teleports without error her entire crew while running through the forest at night to the place they were at X number of miles away without everybody ending up inside out. She is a wizard.
She is a wizard. The wizard.
Are you a wizard?
Yes, I am. But yeah, I think it is just progression. I mean, it would be interesting to do something now because she's more powerful to actually have somebody, at least in one episode, kind of rival her.
Yeah.
Because that would be kind of a weird, for her just to knock heads and have that a little bit of that self-doubt again of just maybe I'm not the best.
You're a wizard, Twilight. You need to get yourself to Hogwarts.
So there we go. That works.
And the last email is for me.
From you?
For me.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is.
And what's great is that this one's just addressed, Dear Apple Cider.
Well, I'm glad I didn't read it.
He mentioned you earlier, but he doesn't capitalize your name, so you're nothing. I'm sorry.
I am nothing. I have reached the end of my relevance to this community. I will fling myself out my window, except I lived on the first floor. I'm going to land in gravel, though. I'll probably really hurt and be annoying for about 5 seconds. Dear Apple Cider.
/ Sandy.
I would like to say just that I love the show. If this airs on an episode, insert number here, then I might not hear it for a while, but I would love if this airs. The reason I might not hear it is because I'm only recently found your show and I'm only on episode 8. Anyways, my message. First of all, I'd like to thank you, AC Chef, and all the guest hosts, both past and future, For the hours of future entertainment I will have received. Tenses are hard. I would like to thank the creators of MLP, whether they listen or not, for their efforts. They have changed my life, and I am forever grateful. And lastly, I would like to thank the community, the writers, for giving me great fanfics to read, the artist who gives me artwork to enjoy, the music makers for, well, filling my pony playlists, and lastly, the community itself for helping when I need it the most. There are no words to describe the feelings I have for this community, nay, this family. Thank you, all of you. I also have a story that is down below. I was watching My Little Pony, and my sister came downstairs. She looked at me for a while, then walked back upstairs. Later that night, I had her help with her history homework. She confronted me about it and asked, "Are you gay? Are you on drugs?"
Gay drugs?
Oh, no, not those.
We started talking about the show, and I, after many hours, convinced her to watch 2 episodes. She watched both parts of the pilot, and her smiles on her face were massive. She won't admit it, but I think she's a brony. Oh, and I forgot to mention, she is 22. Thanks for reading. Your faithful listener, Alex.
Gay meth is the worst meth, so.
I know, it just... It does such things to you. Such things.
I see rainbows. They're dashing everywhere.
That's rainbows dashing everywhere. That's the worst kind of
rainbows
meth
dash,
ever.
dash, rainbow dash.
Get your rainbow mark in a dash.
But where do we go? It's going to be a while since this guy hears this. So, what do you think? What messages should we send into the past? Season 2's really good.
Season 10 was amazing.
Oh, that's true too.
When they finally brought the ponies into real life 2D, 3D, I feel like I could really touch them, but then I couldn't because they're a hologram.
Please don't touch the ponies.
Yes, Starry would like you not to touch the ponies anymore. That would be nice. I wasn't getting the strawberry shortcake crossover, but they kind of made it work.
I don't even know what to do with that.
It was really weird when Andrea talked to both of her characters across streams. Like, what? Huh?
And then there was that one time that Pinky had a midnight craving and massacred the entire village of berrykins.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
She only thought they were berries.
Oh, no.
I love the MLP live show with the Tupac hologram. That was awesome.
Who knew that he enjoyed ponies too? From beyond the grave, Fluttershy. Oh, he loves Fluttershy. That's the thing. They could do that with a hologram. They just change his shirt. Somebody
He's wearing the latest We Love Fine shirt.
He is. It's going out there. It's like, I didn't know that Tupac liked Chrysalis. That's weird. That's so crazy. How did that happen? I don't know. Oh, Tupac. Oh, you.
Tupac, you're so crazy. Liking ponies from beyond the grave.
He seems like he'd probably be a Rainbow Dash fan. I'm just getting that feeling. Or Pinkie Pie. He very much could be a Pinkie Pie fan. Coming back from the grave. Resurrect Millie Mays. There you go. All right, well, that takes care of it. That is
going weird places, guys.
I know. What crazy. So thank you all for sending your emails across. You can send those across to bronyville@gmail.com. I will go ahead and call these out. Thank you very much to our donators. Our donator this week was the Yay Master. He submitted across some cash, which helps us out. If you want to go ahead and help out the show or do what you can, what cash you donate allows us to get to conventions, allows us to make some swag, makes it so that we can do some more cool stuff and keep the show going. So you can do that over at bronyshow.com, and that will allow you to just get all that stuff going and try and make us do more pony. The 5-star iTunes bronies, I'm going to try and load up iTunes real quick because I'm being really slow here. So that way I can get you an accurate number on this. But the people that we want to thank this week for being awesome donators to us over at the show is going to be the Zenakar, Pinkmitz, Yo Mama 1228, Hayden Miller, Everfree Attender, Daisy Azurus, and Jason Pony Swag. And just to give us an idea, the accurate count right now over on the show, and we're getting so close, I think, to another milestone. We are at 619 rankings. We are at 608 5-star ratings. So thank you very much to all of you sending those across. You know what? And this is the point where it's weekly challenge time. I didn't list it, but it's time for me to go ahead and make a challenge out to you guys. Some of you showed up and did your thing on Equestria Daily, and I had it up and then I closed it. So now I'm going to have to reopen closed tags and find it. There we go. Nope, that's not it. All right, I need to just find the post because I picked somebody to win. This is real exciting. Eric Manuel. He posted over from Facebook, left a comment on Equestria Daily for episode number 54. Eric Manuel, get in contact with me. Send an email across to bronyville@gmail.com, and we're going to send you some swag depending on where you are and what you like. So congratulations to you. As for all of you for this week's challenge, this is going to be your challenge. And I guess this only applies to those of you that haven't friended us on Twitter, because this challenge is going out to you. And I suppose if you unsubscribe and resubscribe, we'll see it too. But what we would like you to do is we would like you to subscribe to Bronyville on Twitter, or to subscribe to Chef Sandy on Twitter. And depending on that, I will choose one to win, and Sandy will choose one to win. There will be 2 winners.
Okay.
So that will be our choice. So go ahead and follow. If you are already following, defollow and refollow. It's just that easy. And it's not convoluted.
So many emails this week.
I know. Just turn it off, dude. You can see it from the UI who added you. And then you pick randomly. All right, so that takes care of that. That is your challenge. Go do that. That will be your thing this week, so go check that out, and you can win mad prizes, all of the mad prizes. All right, cool. Looking at the thing, we're down to the very last part of the show. It's time for one cool thing. It's time to talk about all the really neat stuff that you should go check out, which is fun and cool and includes, like, stuff. So what I have right now is my one cool thing is Waiting is Magic. So what we have here is, geez, that echo. There's a game. So there's that scene in a Reading Rainbow, or the reading one, where Rainbow Dash is just kind of waiting in bed and knocking a ball against the wall, and it is just this repetitive motion that looks really cool. And somebody took that and made it a game, and it's actually kind of hard game. It's deceptively hard. I try to get it right, and I fail every time. And there's somebody with a ridiculous score. I don't know how they did that. So go check that out. Waiting is Magic. It's kind of one of those games of like, oh, come on, this can't be that hard. Oh man, come on. You're a jerk, you jerky ball. Then you start getting good, and it changes its bounce. Ugh. Jerk. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. Go check that out. It's Waiting is Magic. Link in the show notes. You can find the show notes at BronyShow.com or BronyvillePodcast.com. Chef?
Mine is going to be the John DeLancie at Dallas Comic Con that Seth posted a little bit ago. I'm glad somebody caught a video. Audio's not the best, but we have really good audio, so we'll probably toss it over there. We have the whole panel, so I'm sure we'll do something with it. But the little speech that John did, very inspiring, very cool to hear, and that's a cool thing for me.
Seth?
All right. Mine is going to be these Gary's Mod Pony Pack version 3. It's the edition with Gilda, Spike, and a bunch of improved skins and weapon things. I just think it's really cool. The older ones always had sort of an uncanny look to them, just because they were not the best textured on the planet, and now we have some really high quality ones to use for Gary's Mod videos. That's
Cool.
about it.
Yeah, those are pretty neat. More statues. That picture has Celestia looking really kind of crazy.
Yeah.
She's staring at something.
staring behind Twilight. Not going to say anything on
Spike
that.
looks kind of creepy. You know what's kind of bad is like that's totally how I would see a Friendship is Magic 3. Is it like a 3D cartoon? It would be so bad.
I'm so glad
hard
it's
to
not
convert
3D.
them to 3D.
It would be
It's
so
very
bad.
It would be weird belly bros. That's for sure. They would-
Care Bears, yeah.
My belly bro is depression and low self-esteem.
My belly bro is years of neglect and the reluctance to exercise. Yes, that's definitely so cool. Yeah, more stuff for Gary's mod, more 3D model packs, so you can go check that out. Inky Face.
So I'm going to deviate slightly from the Google Doc here because we've been yay photos, but we talked earlier about how awesome John DeLancie's voice is, and he has a series of audio things that he's selling, and there's one that's completely free online. So if you go to YouTube and look up John DeLancie, The Raven, and it's a complete reading of The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, and he just has an amazingly perfect voice to do this, and he just performs it so awesome. It's the very top link there, Sandy.
There we go.
And that's if you like John DeLancie and you want to kind of support him and some of his other work and the things he's doing, then go and check that out.
QXM presents The Raven. Watch Q read it. No, it's watch Discord read. Jeez, these people need to get it right. Come on.
Yay. There, we all have cool things this week.
Yay. We can finish the show. Hooray. All right, well, that will take care of it. Thank you
All right.
all. All right, bye. No, let's actually end the show. All right, everyone, I want to thank you. It's been another great episode, and it's time to go ahead and shutter these doors for this week for episode number 55. First off, I always have to thank my awesome friend there, Chef Sandy. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. The things I do for you.
I know it's a little bit late, and we've done some crazy. So glad that you were able to come in and get that little audio for us and talk to JDL for us.
Now the time to go back in the closet, AC.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? And this is the thing. I didn't say anything during the show, but if, I understand if you want to go see VAs without me, but you can bring me along. I don't like being in the closet.
I haven't seen that picture before. I love the little dog food bowl that's in there for you too.
Oh,
that's
boy.
hilarious.
I want to go back in there. I want to thank Seth for just jumping in with us for the silliness and talking about JDL.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Hey, nice to have you, dude. And thank you, Inky, for keeping this craziness around.
My pleasure.
All right. That's going to take care of us. So you can just remember, you can go find us on the web at bronyshow.com or bronyvillepodcast.com. You can go and find us on iTunes. Leave us a review, 5-star us, do what you can. We're up there with Kevin Smith's crazy cacophony of podcasts, so we need to go ahead and stay up there. We are still constantly in the top 30 of TV, and that is awesome because of what you guys contribute. You can follow us, and this is, remember, a contest. Follow us on Twitter, either as Bronyville or as Chefs.
Chef Sandy.
There we go.
Does it count if they follow me?
What's you?
Inky Spots MLP.
All right, follow Inky Spots. It don't count, but you can follow him there, or you can follow Seth,
friends.
or you can follow Seth at Equestria Daily.
Yep, that too.
Let's see, and what else? Conventions. You want to make a convention announcement, Sandy?
Oh, we're going to be at Everything Northwest, and looking like we're also going to be at Candlelight Gardens.
Yep, we're just getting the signatures on that, but Candlelight Gardens looks like it might be a next signature for us to attend. So we do have 2 cons that we look like we might be attending coming up. Everfree's pretty set. Candlelight Gardens looks pretty good. So, yep, we're going to be adding that to our repertoire, and I think that's it. I want to go ahead and thank you guys. Thank all you awesome listeners. You are great, and we love this. We will do another show Saturday next week, probably normal time, so you can catch us at noon. The stream address, if you want, is justin.tv/Bronyville podcast. And we'll have another awesome show for you, and we're going to talk some pony. Till then, you got 1 week. Sleep well, every pony.
Adios.
What is going on? I can't believe this. After the years when I was small, I thought I'd win this. My princess can't eat it. This doesn't make sense. How could you change so very much? Now I'm on the fence. Now it's come to this. I will not let them win. I don't care what you say. I will stand up and fight. Whoa. I will not let this die. These black clouds fill the sky. We will fight back tonight. Whoa, whoa. We will not let this die. I swear I'll never let you beat me. Even if I can't win the fight, I'll keep believing. I'll never run or hide. The truth I have to find. No matter what mask you may wear, my real friends will not die. I don't care what you say. I will stand up and fight. Whoa, whoa. I will not let this die. These black clouds fill the sky. We will fight back tonight. Whoa, whoa. We will not let this die. You say I will stand up.